Mobilized in Memphis, it is official. The National Guard will be deployed to the Bluff City.
Well, it has gotten out of hand over the years, and I think with the task force and other help from other agencies that they can come here and help Memphis with the crime.
These are not benign acts. They are all intentional in an effort to let us be lulled to sleep as our country moves from a democracy into an authoritarian dictatorship.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, I feel like we're entering season 2 of the PIW show, y'all. I feel like we're going on season 2. In season 1, we had your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. We have Michelle Wu. We have Letitia James. We have Fonnie Willis. These are all the characters of season 1 of the PIW show. And y'all, listen, give me a little bit of creative license here, okay? I'm just having a little bit of fun right now. And now on season 2, y'all, we have some new characters showing up on the scene. So are y'all ready? Because Donald Trump, the president of the United States, he wanted to send the National Guard off to Chicago to help your boy. But they put the kibosh on that. They said, no, people here are they're dying. They're fighting for their lives. And we are not going to allow you to come in and help. So Donald Trump backed off. He said, okay, I'm going to leave that up to y'all. I'm going to go somewhere where we're wanted. So he is now going to be sending the National Guard into Memphis. Now, you're going to see in this video, of course, there are people who are in favor of this. There are people who are opposed to this. And that's going to introduce some new people onto our radar today. I think we'll be talking about them in the coming days, weeks, maybe even months, depending on how this National Guard deployment goes. Now, Memphis, in case y'all don't know, Memphis is one of those cities that has traditionally and historically, at least in the last, 20, 25 years, maybe more, has had a very high crime rate. So because Memphis has a Democratic mayor who I'm sure would not have invited the National Guard, but the state of Tennessee has a Republican governor, it's the governor who makes the decision, not the mayor. So the mayor is basically going to have to acquiesce to what the governor decides. And the governor told Donald Trump, send them boys on in and clean Memphis up. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to be taking a look at some of the reaction. And we're also going to take a look at what I don't understand in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. You would think certain people would have gotten the memo, tone down the rhetoric, folks. But as you can see, there's some tone deaf people here who are continuing with their incendiary rhetoric. And I don't know, y'all. These are people who are on our radar now. We're going to see how all of this unfolds. First, we're going to get into a quick report on the fact that the National Guard is going to Memphis. We'll get some reaction from some locals, some Memphians. I just learned that today. That's how you call people in Memphis, Memphians. Oh yeah, by the way, y'all, in a previous video, I said, how do you call people from DC? I'm tripping. Washingtonians, of course. I was like, DCers, DCians? I was tripping that day, y'all, so forgive me. Anyway, y'all, so let's get into this report about the National Guard going to Memphis and see how the Memphians feel about it. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
Mobilized in Memphis, it is official. The National Guard will be deployed to the Bluff City. Thanks for joining us for your News Leader at 4. I'm Alex Coleman. April has the afternoon off. While there have been rumblings about National Guard members being sent to Memphis to help curb crime, President Trump made the announcement this morning. He says he has the support of the governor and the mayor, although Memphis Mayor Paul Young wanted to clear some things up.
I want to be clear. I did not asked for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime. However, that decision has been made.
He says there are still plenty questions about how this will play out. The city called a press conference just a couple of hours ago to discuss what could happen. WREG's Brian Ditlick was there. And Brian, what came out of this meeting?
Yeah, Alex, well, Mayor Young says while the world's eyes are on Memphis, he wants everyone to know that Memphis stands in solidarity when it comes to its reaction to the National Guard coming to the Bluff City. As we go to video, Mayor Young off the top saying that this is not a political stunt. Instead, he says while President Trump has claimed he has talked with the Memphis mayor, Young says that is not the case. Young also denying that he is happy about any federal intervention. Since the announcement, the city says it has already been in contact with state and federal partners, asking how federal resources like the Guard will mix with local law enforcement. Young says his priority is making sure the city works strategically in a way that benefits and strengthens the community. Young says the city itself does not have much say in what capacity we can see the Guard in Memphis, as he urges patience.
There are questions that you all have that I'm not going to be able to give you an answer to today. But my team and I will be discussing those questions with the governor and the federal government. When will they come? How many people are going to come? How long will they be here? What are they going to wear? Where are they going to be geographically in the city? What assignments will they have? Those are all questions that we have.
And now we have much more to break down on today's reactions. Coming up on the news at 5, here from Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis, who said that she's already had conversations with the local National Guard here in the state of Tennessee. Hear what was discussed, again, coming up at 5. But for now, we're live here in downtown Memphis. Brian Ditlick for your news leader, WREG News Channel 3.
Okay, so there you heard from the mayor of Memphis. And at the end of this video, y'all, we're going to give his full statement. I'll be honest, y'all. I know he doesn't want the National Guard to come. I know, but he is saying, hey, let's try to make the best of it. And I mean, I think in light of current tensions, I think that's the most you can ask for from somebody is that they would say, you know what, this wouldn't be my preferred way of going about things, but if this is how it's going to be, let's try to work together to make it the best. So I am going to be cautiously optimistic. You're going to see shortly another politician there. You're going to see somebody who is not so amenable to working together. And as I said earlier, who uses incendiary rhetoric. And he, in my opinion, is just all wrong in his approach. But first, let's see what the Memphians have to say about the National Guard coming into their city.
And the president's announcement is getting mixed reactions from people who live in Memphis. Our Team 3 coverage continues now with WREG's Raven Copeland, who joins us live from Frazier. And Raven, what are people saying about the National Guard there?
Yes, Stephanie, some Frazier residents say the crime is out of control and there's a need for more assistance, while others tell us this will only create more problems. The city of Memphis is reacting after President Trump announced that the National Guard will be deployed to Memphis to combat crime. Frazier is a community that's experienced the impacts of crime and gun violence, so WREG went there to talk to residents.
Send the National Guard to Memphis. It ain't gonna stop the crime, it ain't gonna stop what's going on. We need help. We need some men to step up and get these young people out here in Memphis to stop doing what they're doing.
I think it will be a good thing for them to come to Memphis. For one, it'll help out with the crime here.
Data from the City of Memphis Safer Communities dashboard shows there have been 22 murders in Frazier this year and 409 aggravated assaults, with 131 of those incidents involving guns.
Well, it has gotten out of hand over the years, and I think with the task force and other help from other agencies that they can come here and help Memphis with the crime.
Frazier resident Carla Little tells WREG that the deployment of the National Guard could help make Memphis safer. However, some Memphians disagree.
The National Guard ain't gonna stop it. The MPD ain't, the state troopers ain't. The National Guard wasting time and money. Send them back to the White House, Trump.
So now, y'all, on season 2 of the PIW show, we're already introduced the mayor of Memphis. We'll probably be hearing more from him over the coming, like I said, days, weeks, and months. But there's another person you need to know. You need to know his name. You need to know his game. Justin J. Pearson. Now, y'all, before I show you his comments about the National Guard coming to Memphis, as I told you, Mr. Pearson, he's the one who I said has the incendiary rhetoric. And I'm not down with that, especially not right now, while tensions are at an all-time high, totally tone deaf, in my opinion. But, you know, some people just make their living doing that sort of thing. So it is what it is. But before I show you his comments, I need to give you a little bit of a backstory on him. See, he is one of the people who was previously called, or I guess maybe still referred to as the Memphis Three. So y'all, allow me to do a flashback to the Memphis Three so you can just get a bit of context who this Mr. Pearson is before I show you his comments from today. But just allow me this flashback. Let's take a look.
A shakeup at the Tennessee state capitol after Republican members of the legislature vote to expel two Democrats, including Memphis's Justin J. Pearson. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. The move comes after he broke rules of decorum during a nonviolent protest last week. WRG's Jordan James is live with more on the decision, the fallout, and what is next. Jordan.
Hey, Stephanie, the vote was split along party lines 69-26, and it removes Memphis Representative Justin J. Pearson just 2 weeks after he was sworn in. It's an outcome that could shake up the political landscape here in Memphis. A week after 3 Tennessee state representatives engaged in protests, they returned to the same chambers, hoping to avoid expulsion after allegedly breaking numerous rules during a House floor demonstration on March 30th.
My prayer to you is that even if you expel me, that you still act to address the crisis of mass shootings. Because if I'm expelled from here, I'll be back out there with the people every week demanding that you act.
The protest was inspired by tragedy after a school shooting in Nashville left 6 people dead, prompting them to join with protesters in calling for gun control.
We committed no crime. We did nothing but came to this floor to say we need to listen to the constituents who are asking for us to end gun violence.
The problem was not with what they did, but how and where they did it. Using a bullhorn on the House floor to lead protesters, nonetheless, removal is rare for the House of Representatives. It has only been used a few times since the Civil War, but many in the body believe it's necessary.
Just because you don't get your way, you can't come to the well, bring your friends, and throw a temper tantrum with an adolescent bullhorn.
The rules here are for order. We owe that to the constituents that we represent across this state.
After several hours of debate, a supermajority of Republicans voted in favor of expelling Representatives Pearson and Justin Jones of Nashville. Gloria Johnson of Knoxville survived expulsion by 1 vote.
No matter what happens, I'm all right. But I want y'all to know who remain. That each of you have an obligation to stop turning the people's house into your own club.
Despite being expelled, the two are still eligible to return to office if they win in a special election, and state law prevents them from being expelled for the same offense twice.
All right, so now that you see Mr. Pearson's, just giving you some context for who he is, and, you know, maybe one of the more salient moments in his political career, you just saw it right there. And you can see he's kind of another one of these illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. It's kind of self-styled, like, you know, one of these people who talks kind of like in the style of the civil rights leaders, you know. You know that they learned that, or maybe church, you know, maybe like a mix. So anyway, y'all, we're going to take a look at his now, I will say this, the content of what he's saying about what the community needs, some of it is just, you know, probably just fact, right? I mean, the community needs all kinds of investment. But when you wrap it up in this in this incendiary language, he actually, in my opinion, he's hurting his cause. This is the one thing that I have been saying to people for years and years, like, yo, if you want what you want, learn how to talk to the people who have what you want and convince them to give it to you. And calling them wannabe dictators is not the way to go about it. Anyway, y'all, let's get into his comments. Let's take a look.
Yep. I mean, look, we do not want to see our community being occupied by the military, and we don't want to see over-policing. The solution to the problems that are being articulated is not to increase the number of police, it's to increase the number of resources to actually reduce poverty, to actually educate our population, our children, for the opportunities of the future, and it's to make sure that people have a living wage so that some of the crimes that they commit literally for the need to survive do not happen. We know that gun violence is one of the most significant issues and epidemics in our country. I got expelled because of it. Right? Children under 18 are most likely to die from a bullet than cancer or car accidents. That means laws have to change at the state level. That Governor Bill Lee, Speaker Sexton, Lieutenant Governor Rand McNally need to work on to reduce the amount of access people have to firearms. And that reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car. And then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and Black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist gain. And that's what we're finding right now with Donald Trump and Bill Lee. And so our resistance has to be vocal, it has to be clear, it has to be coordinated, and it has to show people that we are serious about defending our democracy. These are not benign acts. They are all intentional in an effort to let us be lulled to sleep as our country moves from a democracy into an authoritarian dictatorship. This man cares only about his power, keeping it at all costs and running through any community and hurting all the people as he does it. In DC, they brought the National Guard, but you know also who came? ICE. We are going to see this repeating over and over again, the terrorism of our communities, and we have to stand united and we have to fight back against it. But if we do not deal with root causes of poverty, we will never solve the issues that ultimately lead to criminality. And if we do not deal with state houses that refuse to pass laws because the National Rifle Association, the Tennessee Firearms Association, and all the other ones have a hold on Governor Bill Lee, have a hold on all of these other elected officials like Cameron Sexton, if we do not deal with those root causes in our legislatures, we're going to see the proliferation and the perpetuation of gun violence in the ways that we have as well.
So, y'all, the National Guard, they're going to Memphis, y'all. It's on the radar. It's happening. I guess it'll be maybe within the next few days, a week, 2 weeks. They'll be hitting the streets. I will say, and I've said many times, I'm neutral on it because I really don't have a lot of background knowledge or experience as far as seeing the National Guard do policing details and duties. Not the way that they're being deployed right now. So I'm neutral in the sense that, is it the right thing? I don't know. We're going to see, right? It seemed to have worked out well in Washington, D.C. But who knows? One thing I will say is, why are all these people so adamant at not enforcing our immigration laws? Like, what? Why? I don't understand. Y'all, that's something I totally don't get. Hey, we need to invest in the community in an affordable wage. And at the same time, people who are here in the country without permission, we need to make sure that they're protected. Dude, what about the jobs, man? I mean, true, them being here does create jobs, but they also, people who are here without permission to work, also working jobs that people could be working. I mean, and don't give me that whole, they're only taking the jobs Americans don't want. No. Yeah, some of them, some are plumbers, some are carpenters. They're taking all kinds of jobs. And again, I just think either be in a country with permission. I'm all for having a robust permission system, or go to your country and make your country great again. You know, I'm all for us allowing people to come here and work and live. But, you know, we have limits as of right now. So let's respect those limits. So anyway, y'all, that's my take on it. I want y'all to let me know. What do you think about all this? Do you think this Memphis surge is going to work? If it does, you better believe more cities will be on the docket. What would it look like if it doesn't work? I mean, will crime increase? Will the people of Memphis rise up and say, we prefer the crime to having the National Guard on our streets? Will they riot? Let me know what y'all think might happen down in the comments, y'all. Before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email. text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. For my people with the retirement, gold is at an all-time high, people. 3,500, 300, 3,600, something like that dollars per ounce. Since I've been telling y'all to holler at gold, it's done shot up. And you know what? They about to start printing more money, which means gold will probably keep going up. Again, not a financial advisor, but y'all go to the link, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information. It's the first link down in the description. Just click on it. Get the info. And speak to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. See you back in the next one. And let's go ahead and get into these full comments from Memphis's mayor.
Of Memphis standing here in solidarity. There are people from all different backgrounds. There's elected officials. I want to thank Representative Cohen for being here, Representative Parkinson, City Councilman Ford. I see the chair of the County Commission is here, Shantae Avant, as well as Mikhail Lowry from the County Commission. We have business leaders, clergy, community members. We're all standing in solidarity for Memphis. And I know we have a lot of press here. This press conference will probably get broadcast in a lot of different places. And as the eyes of the world are on Memphis, I want the world to know that Memphis stands together. This morning, we learned that the president and the governor are looking to bring federal resources to our city, which include the National Guard, which they have the authority to do. I want to be clear, I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime. However, that decision has been made. And as mayor of the city that I love, of Memphis, Tennessee, my commitment is to make sure that we work strategically to ensure that this happens in a way that truly benefits and strengthens our community. I want to note that we have been making progress as a city on reducing crime. 13% overall reduction in crime in 2024, 19% reduction in violent crime, 29% reduction in murders, 37% reduction in car thefts, and that's in 2024. And on 2025, we're on pace to beat those numbers. We've been executing a very deliberate strategy, one that focuses on identifying the most violent individuals and groups in the city, and we've seen success. We've invested in a citywide camera network that provides the technology that allows us to capture criminals more quickly. We've recently had a successful FBI initiative in partnership with MPD that has produced significant results. And because of the work and the tireless efforts of our law enforcement, we're seeing double-digit percentage reductions in crime across the board. And I believe that what we should do is double down on those strategies that we know work. I think it's important that I say here as mayor that we know the work is not done. Our city is still far too high on too many of the bad lists. And we're committed to putting in the work to making sure that we do just that. I want to speak to the reality that far too many Memphians feel. Just over the past couple of weeks, we had a beautiful 901 day celebration, our only holiday. The only holiday that we celebrate. No other place in the country, 901 day. Beautiful celebration. The event was scarred at the end of the night after everything was over because we had teenagers that had a shootout. We had a home in Hickory Hill where 4 residents were shot in their own home. I had an event just last night, where I was walking through a festival and there was a daughter that chased me down to hand me a letter that her mama had typed for her to give to me and put in my hand, where she talked about her son that passed away in 2018 and she's still looking for answers. So the pain of violence, we feel it. We know it all too well. To me, this is not about politics. This is not a political stunt for anybody up here. We're talking about real lives. So despite the reductions that we've seen, the crime is still too high and there's still too many victims. That said, we're going to continue to be laser focused on what it takes to reduce crime in our city. We know the National Guard is coming. My plan is to make sure that as mayor, I'm able to work with this community, with the governor, with the federal government, to ensure that the support that is provided supports the initiatives that we know work and not distract from our law enforcement efforts. There are questions that you all have that I'm not going to be able to give you an answer to today. But my team and I will be discussing those questions with the governor and the federal government. When will they come? How many people are going to come? How long will they be here? What are they going to wear? Where are they going to be geographically in the city? What assignments will they have? Those are all questions that we have and that we are going to work through together as a community. And the group that you see here today, as I mentioned earlier, it represents a diverse range of Memphians. I can tell you that there are some that support it and some that don't. But we're all right here together today. Because one thing we do have in common is a love for this city. Yeah. And I want to close with this, and then I'll open it up for questions. Let me say my ultimate goal after this short-term presence of individuals coming to the city, my ultimate goal is to make sure that we get a long-term partnership and commitment with the state, with the federal government, community partners, that we are going to address the root causes of violent crime, that we're going to be able to access resources for outreach and rehabilitation for people who may have already made bad decisions in their lives, that we're going to invest in the programs that truly address the trauma and much needed mental health services that are needed in our community, that we're going to invest in building a workforce and a pipeline where we're training young people for the trades and the jobs of the future and the ones that they can access quickly, where we're stabilizing communities by investing in housing and small business corridors throughout the city of Memphis. And most importantly, that we all remain committed to raising the level of hope in the hearts of the people that live in this community. Hope is about a clear image of the future and a true belief that that image can be achieved. And for far too many, that hope has been gone. And my goal as mayor is to make sure that all of the things that we do are all centered around elevating that hope. And let me lastly say that Memphis is a special city. It's a special place. We're different. We're already doing the work. And now the world is going to get an opportunity to watch us succeed. All right, thank you. I'll open it up for questions. I will say that I'm probably going to field the questions for now, and then we have a host of people that are here, elected officials. Certainly will allow each of you to be able to pull them to the side as we go, but for the sake of time, I think it's best that I field the questions for now.
And we are gonna ask that you announce your name and your outlet before you ask any questions.
Yes.
Mayor Martin on Fox 13 News. My question is for the people out there. Mayor Harris just had a news conference this morning. She said it's a little fearful. For the Memphians out there who are fearful, what's your advice if they get pulled over by the National Guard once they've established their presence here?
Well, I think Mayor Harris probably reflects the concerns of many individuals. And as I mentioned earlier, there are questions that we don't have answers for yet. I don't think the National Guard will be pulling people over, but those are things that we are going to have direct conversations about in the days and weeks to come. I think it's important to note that in terms of timing, this is not happening tomorrow. We have some time to talk through some of those issues and questions. And I expect that we will have a long list of questions that we want to get answered from this community as we have those dialogues.
Ezekiel Telemaco with ABC 24. President Trump this morning on Fox and Friends said that you were happy about this. Would you say that that statement is accurate?
Yeah, that was an overstatement. I am focused on the resources. FBI, DEA, ATF, those are the things that I believe will truly help us be able to support law enforcement and reduce violent crime. I do not support the National Guard. However, they are coming. It's not the mayor's call. The mayor doesn't have a say or the authority to stop them from coming. And so my goal is to make sure that as they come, that I have an opportunity to work with them to strategize on how they engage in this community.
Brian Finley, WRAG, quick question. In terms of what the city can or cannot say in the capacity which the National Guard, what does the city have? What power do we have to say? What capacity do we have?
I mean, I think I just answered that. We don't have a say in the National Guard, but our goal is to ensure that we have influence in how they engage in this community. I've spoken with the governor on numerous occasions, and he's been very, very open to that collaboration, as well as the federal government. So we look to have some influence on how they engage.
Mayor Young, it's Tim Hargan on the building, and right now the city charter review and police chief Davis are the chief law enforcement officers essentially in the city. Would that change with the National Guard arrives?
No, that does not change.
And so would they essentially be under command and control of the police department?
There will be a lot of coordination, and obviously this is something we're all new to, so we're going to be learning, working with our attorneys, but Chief Davis will remain the chief of police and continue to drive law enforcement in the city of Memphis.
Mayor Young, Imani Williams with Channel 5. In previous cities where we have seen the National Guard come in, they have been focused more in a downtown area. Here in Memphis, it's pretty large, and some Memphians are wondering if they will see people in North Memphis, South Memphis, Fraser, Raleigh, or will we just see them downtown where that's not one of the focus areas previously stated by MPG. So do you expect to see National Guard in other places other than downtown?
Again, that's one of the questions that we have. We want to make sure that it's geographically diverse. The areas that would be covered and how they cover them is still a question, but we don't know the answer to that right now.
Mayor Young, Lee Smith, Tri-State Defender. Memphis is not the first city to have the administration decide they want to bring troops in. What are, we could say, some of the best practices or what we have learned from how other cities have handled this?
Well, I've had conversations with Mayor Bowser in DC, and she has developed a working relationship with the team that is there. And our goal is to make sure that we have a working relationship with whatever team comes to the city so that we can align their efforts with the efforts of our law enforcement.
Mayor Young, I got a statement from the MD Police Officers Union, and I asked what they thought about this. And the statement says that roughly they're down almost 500 officers, and they welcome the help. What do you say to that?
I would say that any opportunities for us to use the National Guard to supplement our law enforcement efforts is what we would look to.